And we are live, I hope at least. Greetings Rummies and welcome to Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Today, once again, showing you the T5, which we're not allowed to say too loud that it's the DTM, just in case, you know. And I say we because I'm not alone. Once again, I am with fabulous, with the man with the voice of 1,000 angels. Cody, how are you, mate?
Hi, it's good to be here, and this is a really fun track. Sort of, you want to take us through it?
The track is quite easy. Let me find the driver that is near to the start of the track. Let's see. He is crucial. I hope he doesn't go into pits, because then I can show you the track quite well. He doesn't go into pits, so out on end straight as always, and then the next one is a 90 degrees to the right, which is quite heavy. You brake very strongly and then hope not to get on that yellow sausage. Then you go straight and up, which is difficult, and the next one is also gonna be 90 degrees, which is even more difficult because you mostly have to smell the apex. You don't really see it. And then you have a small...
And this one's a bit tighter than 90 degrees too.
Yeah,
which makes it a bit more challenging.
Yeah. Then you have a couple of very slow corners, and then you get this corner, which ends, which can end you in the gravel. Yet again, a very short straight, and yet again a tight right, as we can see, which follows by another tight right, because that straight is nothing. Left, then a right, then you go straight again, and then you go again into a corner, and then in the last corner of the race, which is also 90 degrees, and you're at the start and end straight, is very, very fast track. All those and it's a mix of fast and then you have you drive fast on the straights, and then you have to go really on the brakes to get all those 90 degrees and even sharper corners. And of course the one that is the biggest thing of them all is this year, which we see Caneo taking, which is the one that is, yeah, as you said, even tighter than 90 degrees, and it's uphill, and you really don't see the apex, so it's very difficult to get right. I struggle every time. I have to train specifically that corner very strongly, because it's very, very difficult to get.
Yeah, and it's less that it is, you know, difficult to traverse at all, but it is really, really hard to master, to really like pull out the lap times, and it's consequential because you're coming from a straight, but you also have a straight after that, and so your corner exit speed is incredibly important.
Yeah, so all in all, Spielberg, Red Bull Ring, whatever you want to call it, is a fast track, but it's an incredibly technical mix, because you try to get as fast as you can on the parts that are straight or almost straight, but then you have to take care that you don't go too fast there, or that you can brake soon enough and quick enough to get all those quite technical corners right. So yeah, it's not my favorite track in the world, but I do understand the joy that somebody can get from driving or watching this track, and it's a very interesting track, and it's a track that that tasks the pilots strongly.
all the races I've ever seen here, which is not really including F1, have made for a lot of great passing opportunities. That's one of the things that this track, in my eyes, does pretty well, especially on these, corner, straight corner, here in the end of Sector 3 and then the beginning of Sector 1 and into Sector 2 a little bit. It's really good because you get one corner and then a lot of straightaway to play out the consequences of how you did that corner. And so there's going to be a lot of passing on straights, I'm predicting. But yeah, this will be a fun one. The last race was
well, we'll have to see. As you said, this is one where you can. It's much easier to overtake than, for example, in Oschersleben where we were last week.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we're going to see a bit more trading places. We saw a lot of really close battles at Oschersleben last week. And so I think we're going to see a little bit more spread out this time around, but it's still going to be pretty entertaining to watch because we're going to have, I think, more drivers gaining and losing speed on various corners. You're going to see a lot of rubber banding. And with the way that some of these drivers are really ripping it through the last two corners, I think you're going to have to keep an eye on those as potential spots where we might see some accidents.
And we are 3 minutes away from the end of qualifying, and there's one driver that I'm not seeing here. Huh. Is Seifert not there?
He's not gone out on track. I don't see him in the server. There are 26 drivers on the server practicing right now, or qualifying right now, actually. We are in the middle of qualifying. But yeah, I do not see Seifert, who, had very good performances the rest of this championship so far.
I mean, that's gonna make some people very happy, of course, because he's been dominating.
It might make it a closer battle. That is definitely an absence like that is going to have some really big consequences on points.
And I'm not showing you the standings because we are still on qualifying, but when qualifying has ended and they have their warm-up, I'm going to show the driver and team standings, which is going to show you why some people are going to be happy that Seifert, at least at the moment, is not there. Right now, we still have 1 minute 30 to the end of qualifying. Any driver that is not going on track right now is gonna have difficulties finishing the in-lap to be able to at least mark one time. So for now, we're looking at D'Amelio, Riepsev, Reinhardt, Van Leuven, and Roszak as places 1 to 5 in the race, but that can still change.
Yeah, well, they'll have 1 minute left to do it, as there's 1 minute of qualifying, and then of course a little bit of change for drivers to finish their lap. But Luca D'Amelio, I'm not sure. Did we didn't talk about him a whole lot in the last round. Did he make an appearance there? We've got 7 more drivers in the race than we had last time around. Last time, I think we have 2 more drivers. It was 25 the last time around, not 20 as I was thinking. But yeah, so actually, interestingly enough, I don't think he's turned a lap, but Nick Stepanenko is in the garage.
I think Nick is gonna be driving the safety car if one is needed. I think he gave his place to to another driver in his team, as he has got more than enough to do organizing these races.
I don't know. Well, Seifert is missing. I think that was Seifert in his team?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, Stepanenko is going out. He'll only have time for an out lap, but he is aiming to set a lap.
Okay.
Right now.
Connected. Channel switched.
But yeah, he's not gonna be able to make any time because
No, yeah, it's just an out lap. But yeah, 28 drivers. Maxim Zhuravlev has joined the paddock. So we're going to have a much better, or I guess a marginally better turnout this time around than last time. And we want to welcome you, the viewer, to the race, and say we are happy to have you joining and watching live or watching the replay. And hello to you, driver, if you are revisiting this as a replay later to check things out. Wanted to give a shout out to all of y'all, and also I want to shout out our Patreon. YouTube.com/RomRom is not the only place that you'll find us on the internet. You can also find us at patreon.com/RomRom. And there are a number of fun benefits there. But most of all, we would love it if you guys supported the channel.
And now that qualifying has ended, we have the starting order with Yaroslav Krustalev, Luca D'Amelio, Benjamin Reinhardt, Roman Ryadtsev as places 1 to 4. Sander van Leuven, Patrick Roszak, Filippo Caneo, and Timon Suvik places 5 to 8. And I said that I was going to tell you about the standings. Let me find them. Driver standings, as a surprise to nobody. Seifert has the first position in the standings with 77 points, as he has done 3 first places and 1 second. That's no small feat. Then we have Ryadtsev, who at the moment is 4th in this race after qualifying. Ryadtsev is 2nd overall, Monteiro 3rd overall, and he's qualified 9th in this race. Van Leuven is 4th overall, 5th after the qualifying for this race, or 2 races I have to say, and Luis Lobo as 5th, and he is 15th today. With regards to the team standings, no surprise, the team where Seifert drives is first, closely followed by Alpa Racing, where Ryadtsev and Krustalev drive. Origin Racing on 3rd with Monteiro there. Origin Racing TD with Luis Lobo on 4th, and Valle Esports on 5th. That, of course, without the points for any of today's 2 races, because we don't even have 1 race finished. And yes, we have 2 races, just reminding you. We have always a first race, which is 20 minutes, and then a second race that is 40 minutes with an obligatory pit stop, where the tires, at least the tires, have to be changed. So the first race has reverse grid, reverse standings from places 1 to 10 with regards to qualifying. In the second race, the 40-minute race, has the grid exactly as it was in qualifying. a small warm-up session.
Yep, it'll be about 3.5 minutes, and then we'll have a slight break as the server gets all set up, and then we will get going. Benjamin Reinhardt there goes off in turn 1.
Yeah, many drivers try new things on warm-up, which is absolutely the wrong moment to try new things, in my opinion, but that's what some of them do.
Well, it's also, you know, you're reaccustoming. That's not a word. You're getting reaccustomed to. You're getting reaccustomed to the shift from qualifying trim to race trim, which can oftentimes handle it a little bit different. Of course, you're going to have a lot more fuel in race trim than in qualifying trim, but also there can be some other changes, such as a slight aero adjustment that in qualifying helps you go a little bit quicker but is much less stable, and so you wouldn't want to do a whole race with it, or you know, other changes to the suspension, especially damper setups, that, you know, on qualifying trim with no fuel, the car has less weight, and so it'll behave differently, so you might adjust the dampers. But whenever you switch it into race trim, it's going to, you know, through a myriad of changes, those and some others probably not listed, it is going to change up a little bit, and so the warm-up is a good chance to get out in race trim and get reaccustomed to the differences that you'll be, you know, driving on race versus on qualifying.
They're doing the reaccustomatization.
Yes.
If we're inventing words, let's go for the silliest ones.
They're figuring out their race strategery as well.
Exactly.
Red Bull Ring, it's really been the track of many names. It used to be called Österreich Ring, which was just Austrian circuit, right?
Yep.
And then it got rebuilt, and they called it the A1 Ring, which
A1 being
sounds like
a company
sponsor.
that a mobile phone company.
Cool. Do you guys over there have A1 and O2?
Well, it was an Austrian company.
Right. I'm just, you know, Europe generally, you guys have, you know, letter number as phone companies. It's one of those things where it's like the
interestingly
enough,
enough,
if I had a nickel every time, then you know, I'd have 2 nickels, but it's strange that it happened twice.
Well, interestingly enough, one of the companies, and that was because the name of the technical name was like that, one of the companies doing mobile being a mobile telco in Germany was called D2. That company doesn't exist anymore, was bought up by Vodafone. So there you go, you have the next one with a number. And
yeah, so there you go, 3 nickels. That's interesting. But yeah, so now it is currently known under its branding name of the Red Bull Ring. But a lot of other people just call it Spielberg.
Never been a fan of that gummy bear booze. Soon the race is going to start. Now the server thingies that we set are gonna take place, and then they have one slow round, what's it called normally? Setup round or whatever, and then we start.
It's
the
an
race.
outlap.
It's a standing start, as was in DTM at the time.
So for some comparisons, as we talk about the various lap times here, the real world Red Bull Ring DTM lap record is 1 minute 23.442 seconds. So obviously in the sim there will be some differences, but currently, and that was set in 2016. So these cars are a couple years newer, and so they might run a little bit quicker. But in this past session, Benjamin Reinhardt ran the fastest lap at 1 minute 21.893. So these guys are going quicker than even the DTM drivers did IRL.
Which is something that often happens.
Yes. It
I
is.
suppose also because you don't have
customary.
the G forces sloshing you from side to side and all.
Yeah, there's that.
All setting themselves up in the roaster.
And I am going to be back in 30 seconds.
Wait. I'll count the minutes. As we said, the drivers are now set up in reverse grid, reverse position from their qualifying in the places 10 to 1, 1 to 10. This is going to be
As promised.
a 20-minute race without any obligatory pit stops. Considering the corners that this track has, there may be pit stops that drivers are taking, even if they are not obligated to. But we'll have to see.
And see we shall as the drivers start their outlap. This is not go, but this is the go before the go. And so they will go around and then park themselves on the start-finish straight, and then we will get racing. That's what we're here to see.
Won't see them so relaxed ever again on this track. As you're wondering, this is a mod that a paid mod, if I remember correctly, that has the cars of the classic Class 1 DTM, which in my opinion was the best time for DTM ever. Those Class 1 machines were wonderful beasts.
BMW M3 fans of old may disagree with you slightly. They'd say it was the mid 90s, but I think that the raw speeds that these things can achieve is absolutely insane. One of the teams that I think you should look out for is those blue and yellow Origin Racing VD team cars. You see an excellent example of it in second place with Thiago Monteiro. And these guys, I think all out of Portugal, put on an absolute masterclass last time around. You saw just a whole line of cars from second through like, you know, fifth or sixth. That was just all those blue and yellow Origin Racing cars. Really, really looking dominant there. And so I think this time around, some of his teammates are a little bit further away than Thiago Monteiro's, but nonetheless, we know that they have pace. We know that they all have pace, and we know that they're good at working together as well. So maybe the power of friendship can save the day for these guys. But slightly lower average starting position than we had before. But here we go, or at least here we get ready to go. When the lights come on and go out, we will get racing.
If they ever do, let me see. Whoops. Green, green,
Off
green.
we go.
There we go. Oh, not a good start for Shalomonov, who still keeps the first position. A lot of argy-bargy going on. Let's see how they're gonna survive this first corner. Is not surviving the first corner is my R Factor 2. Even with a 38,
Yeah.
R Factor 2 has issues.
I've had the same issue on my viewer over here. A lot of locking up from Benjamin Reinhardt. They're in the middle of a big group of cars coming into the braking zone for turn 3. Rui Santos moves into the top 10 for the first time, and we have a race on our hands. Look at that, 3 wide into the braking zone here. Ryabtsev locking the fronts. His teammate Krushtalev is right alongside him, 7th and 8th. The leaders, Thiago Monteiro, has taken it. I told you to watch those blue and yellow cars. And as we said, Shalomonov with the slightly worse start still maintains a solid second place. Patrick Rozak in third. Sander van Leuven in fourth as we come around to the final corner of the first lap. There we go. Boy, we have a race on our hands, don't we? We've gone single file here after the chaos of the start. The drivers getting a little bit more conservative on this one. But a big slide in the back there. Nick Stepanenko, who did start the race with us, I think he avoided or was a part of a bit of a step out from Arco Hollistel.
In the meantime, we saw Wojak take the place of Shalomonov, very, very clean on the inside of the second corner. So now we have traded places. We have Monteiro, Wojak, Shalomonov, who has lost already 2 places from this race.
I've never been great at race starts myself, so I understand. But you have a lot of time to get it back. We've got 17 minutes left to go in this race, which feels like more time than it really is. But yet still.
That's the only thing I'm good at the starts. The rest is chaos, but the starts I'm good at.
Rozak setting the best lap time. We've only got a few laps to show for our efforts so far, but it really does show that he's off to a really good pace and is rapidly gaining on Thiago Monteiro. Look at that. Coming around the corner here. He gets a good exit, but he braked a little early, so he loses a little bit more time, but at the speeds these guys are going, you can really change a lot in a single braking zone. And you can see Shalomonov creating some smoke, locking up the tires there. And Sander van Leuven had to brake a little bit earlier and harder to not run into the back of him.
Somebody in the chat wanted to see Vesely. He's at 21st, so Stepan Vesely. We go back to the front because Montero and Rojak are really cutting the corners as much as they can, trying to get the better.
Yeah, you could just look at the gap that's starting to put. Whoa! And Patrick Rozak hits the sausage curbs on the outside and spins it from second place, and he's rapidly going down the order here. Oh man, it was so promising. And as he tries to rejoin, he almost gets hit as some drivers are using all the space as they can. Thankfully, did not get involved there, but that was a little too close for comfort.
Leuven looking at the inside, not taking the inside. So we have Montero, Shalomonov, Leuven, Solik, Caneo in the places 1 to 5. Romanov did not expect to get second so fast. Okay.
Well, he did drop down from pole position, and so I think now the only thing that's really in his way is that big gap between him and Montero. It's about 1.7 seconds so early on in this race that it doesn't look too different, but Montero is driving very consistently, and the way he is right now, with nobody ahead of him and no lap traffic, probably until maybe the very end of this race, probably not. It's gonna be just Montero just running laps all by himself, unless Shalomonov can catch him. But it might be Van Leuven, because look at that, Van Leuven gets a pass in the braking zone as
very clean.
Yeah, Shalomonov again locking the fronts a little bit into his corners, but yeah, Van Leuven pulls off an excellent pass, and it's Van Leuven now who's going to see if he can catch up to Montero, which the gap has now increased to 1.7, 1.8 seconds now. And that spin that we saw from the previous second place driver, that was quite the unforced error. He just ran out onto the sausage curbs on the corner exit. It just gets a little bit rough and just spun the car. I think he thought he had enough grip, but I've seen other drivers, I think I've even seen him run out and use all that space with no issue.
You try to avoid that sausage, because that one's heavy. If not because you lose control of the car, because it hurts if you are using a DD wheel. It hurts because you really notice it on the front side.
Yeah, there's that. Rozak, I'm looking at him. He is passing Mario Serafim, or is trying to pass Mario Serafim, but for 17th. And so yeah, he's got a long way to go and a short time to get there. He is eastbound and down. I hadn't thought about it as, yeah, that wouldn't be a full space. That would be Luca D'Amelio, not Luca Di Emilio. I was like, so, what kind of a name is Emilio? Yeah, okay, D'Amelio.
I suppose there is an apostrophe there, or there should be.
Yeah, should be. But you know how putting your name into a video game can work.
Yeah. especially if your name is, there is no way to spell it out in English, and the game system only accepts English. Very fun things. So what has happened is that Shelomanov, Suvik and Ryabtsev are now in a small train. Romanov keeping his third position, but far away from Sander van Leuven. But Suvik is near enough that he could profit from any issues that Romanov had.
Yeah, Suvik has been, really all these drivers in this train have been getting ever closer together. And but you're seeing Suvik had a horrible exit. And that means that look at Emilio gets around Suvik and Ryabtsev gets around Suvik. And yeah, man, one corner makes all the difference. He loses 2 positions in one.
That's what I was saying about Red Bull Ring. You have to be so careful coming into the corner. Like the entry of the corner is the most important thing in this track. For others, the exit is more important, but the entry into the corner, if you mess that up, you get in 10,000 problems, and of course then you mess up the exit.
Well, it all flows together then, doesn't it? Because you know, you can nail the corner entry and get a really good time on your corner entry, but that might mean that you overshoot the exit, and that screws you up. And so for me, being fast or slow on corner entry is not near as important as using that corner entry to set yourself up to be fast on the corner exit, especially for these corners where you're opening out onto a straight. That makes it just imperative that you use all the space on corner entry and corner exit, and notably that you're not taking the corner too soon. Like, you might need to take it sharper than you think and slow down more than you think, so that you can maximize that corner exit speed. Luca D'Amelio is looking towards the inside of Ryabtsev. Slams the brakes.
Oh.
Gets it, yeah. A little bit dive bomby, but that's racing. I think it's legal.
Yeah, but he lost the place.
Oh, maybe they're trading blows.
Yeah.
They are tapping. Definitely a contact sport here.
Absolutely, DTM always was.
And man, you look at these guys. Whoa! Big touch there from D'Amelio. Stewards might be looking at that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're driving very close together, as you can see. Absolutely no clearance in some moments there.
By the way, I've moved to Monteiro against Van Leuven because Van Leuven is only 3 seconds away from Monteiro.
Well, in a 20-minute race, we're more than halfway through it, and so these drivers, if they can't wait to make a move. So Van Leuven, he is pushing as hard as he can to catch up to Montero. Montero has the benefit of a free and open track all in front of him. Here, probably until the end. But
Van Leuven goes on the inside.
Yep.
Can he make it stick? We'll see.
They stay alongside through the corner.
Yeah.
Montero maintains the advantage. Van Leuven is trying to get back under that draft a little bit, but still leave some opportunity to... Whoa!
They touch.
There's a big touch there.
Nice.
A little bit more gentlemanly driving between these guys versus the others we were covering only a moment ago. But that doesn't mean that contact will not occur at all. But
it's DTM.
that's absolutely right.
Leuven keeps at it.
Yeah, Van Leuven is really keeping Montero honest as we go around here. I do want to make note, there are some yellows popping up on the screen. We have had a few DNFs. We're staying with this because it is the battle and there's not a whole lot of time. But we've got Stavros Sarakas has just had an off and DNF'd, but is still out on track. Alexander Dobryakov is a DNF.
It's the first position.
There it is. That's why we're staying with that battle and not cutting to those incidents as they were happening, because just like that, it can change in a moment. And it has. The moment is now Van Leuven's as he takes the lead. Yeah, he's shown good pace. Again, he he was on pole. I'm sorry, no, Shalomonov was on pole, but Van Leuven was up towards the front in qualifying, and showed that he had good pace, because I don't think he has lost a position so far. I think he's only gained, and so whatever he's doing is working, and he's just kept doing it until he started winning. So, but a lot can happen in about 5 minutes, so stay with us as we wrap up this race. It is not over until the flag drops, that is for sure.
Especially in this season of the T5 ASRC, DTM, whatever you want to call it. Because we've seen enormous racing, and we see Ryatsev is taking Sovik's place.
I think Suvik and Filippo Caneo are about to be an issue. Yep, they almost get into each other in that corner. They stay away, but just barely. But Suvik is in 6th place, Caneo in 7th. And all of these drivers are close, from 7th through to about 3rd place, and then you get a bit of a gap. But yeah, definitely some action going on with these guys for sure. But we're running out of time here. These guys are running about 1:23 per lap right now. And we've got 3 minutes left to go as the leader crosses the line. So I think
Caneo was looking at the inside, but kept
it'll be probably 2 laps after this, but only barely.
At the front, Van Leuven is now 1 second away
Suvik
from Montero.
passes Caneo, I think.
No. Caneo was always behind Suvik.
Caneo dive bombed ahead and then lost the position. That was it.
Oh.
On the corner there. I flipped to Filippo Caneo. He was ahead of Suvik, but he was off track as Suvik was passing him. So I was like, oh, okay.
Shalomonov against Ryatsev. Shalomonov is now in 4th starting position. 1st position because of the reverse grid. But still, keeping 4th is not bad.
Van Leuven's feeling pretty comfortable right now. He's got a 1.2 second gap to Montero. And Montero's probably feeling a little bit less comfortable because Luca D'Amelio is in 3rd place right on his heels as they come into this braking zone. Luca D'Amelio is making his move. Slides into Montero, and kind of pushes Montero out of the way there on corner exit. That's
Not sure how clean that was and how race control is gonna be seeing that.
I'm pretty sure how clean that was. I don't think it was very clean, but now Shalomonov is facing up against Montero, and I don't know about you, but my R Factor 2 is struggling a little bit. But Shalomonov actually loses to Ryabtsev, who just slips right in there, and now Ryabtsev is knocking on Montero's door. But Luca D'Amelio very quickly now over a second ahead of Montero. So how's that for a little bit of a last minute shakeup?
30 seconds left.
Oh, Van Leuven had a horrible turn one, hit those sausage curbs that ruined the race of Patrick Rojak. And he's lost a bit of time. He's now within 2 seconds of Luca D'Amelio. But I think that Luca D'Amelio doesn't quite have it to catch Van Leuven, even with the few mistakes that Van Leuven has started to make after 20 minutes of all-out racing action.
On the other hand, Ryabtsev wants to take Montero's place.
Very, very close battle here. Montero, who led this race for the first 16 minutes of this 20-minute race. Worth noting, we're on the last lap. The time is up, so around these last two corners, it will be victory for Van Leuven if he nails this one last corner. He's got it. And through to the finish, it's going to be Van Leuven taking the checkered flag. And Luca D'Amelio in a close, contested second place. Montero, the other driver involved in the contestation there, takes third place, holding off Ryabtsev, who comes in fourth. Timon Suvic rounds out your top 5 for race 1.
Ooh, that was something.
It was.
A lot of stuff going on, but that's typical from these races. The ASRC keeps a tight ship with regards to clean driving, and the quality of the races is normally very high, as we have seen in the IndyCar races, especially the road races. With regards to the ovals, they still have some training to do, but the road driving is incredibly good. And because we have people who are very interested in it, Vesely ends up 19th in this first of 2 races today. So the second race is gonna be 40 minutes. The grid is gonna be set up exactly as in qualifying, and there is one obligatory pit stop to change tires. In general, you get the car filled up with fuel and don't refuel.
While we get set up, I'm going to take a quick break and be right back.
Set something else up. waiting for the start of the second race. Next race is gonna be on the Moscow Raceway, which is not exactly my favorite, but next week, 1st of December, after you've done your wonderful Black Friday, Black Week, whatever journey and bought whatever you needed, you can come here, same time, same space, to watch the ASRC drive on the Moscow Raceway with these DTM cars. And after that, my absolute favorite track, especially of the DTM, Norrisring on the 8th of December. And Spa on the 15th, and shortly before Christmas, Hockenheimring, which is also a fantastic track, is gonna end up this wonderful ASRC series. Just thought we should. Once again on warm-up. And you know the drill. As soon as the warm-up ends, set up.
We go racing.
Well, not exactly. Set up your lap and then racing.
Well, there's that, yes. As we were saying, we saw a lot of overtakes, a lot of shenanigans. Often enough on that second corner. And it. See drivers soon getting themselves up or being set up by the sim on the grid. So, driver that I am going to be looking at is Patrick Rozak in this next race, because obviously we know how the previous race went for him. He spun out in I think it was lap 3 on a sausage curb, and but he spun out from like second place, challenging for the lead, and so we know that he's got good performance. We saw that he was really quick off the line. And it was just that one little mistake screwed him for the rest of the race. But now with a little bit more time and perhaps a little bit less aggressiveness, I think that got beat out of him last round. I'm really curious how he's going to approach this. Definitely a driver to watch. That's the number 37, Patrick Rozak.
Poor guy with a checkered flag. There's nobody on track. You can stop that now.
Gonna go until his arm hurts.
We're waiting for the server to be set up. Gonna be watching the second race. Right.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel
Servers
leave the
are
grid
being
now.
set up. And we're gonna have the drivers set up the way that what is it? The way that they finished qualifying, with Khrushchev, D'Amelio, Reinhardt, Riebtsev, Van Leuven in place 1, 2, 5, and Roszak in place 6. Let's see how he sets himself up at the start of it.
We're starting to see drivers populate the grid, but this is as drivers are selecting their setup and confirming it, and then they get put out onto the grid. Of course, since the last race was also a race, I don't expect a big difference, but you know, some drivers take a little bit longer to have some water, get up,
Or
get a drink,
rid
whatever,
of some water.
or get rid of some water. That's the other option. Sim racing weight savings, as we say.
Yeah. Installment, setup, whatever. And so we're gonna start the second race of the night. 40 minutes, one obligatory pit stop. See, most drivers go around 20 minutes into pits because at the end of the 20 minutes, like it was with this race, the tires start to go. cars are taking it easy. Going around. Beginning of the first race, I saw more drivers trying to warm up their tires. Here now they don't see.
One of the things that happens as you go around, it'll naturally warm up, but then you come in for your standing start, and then it's gonna go start cooling again. So I think it might have been that they just noticed, oh hey, this is not doing a whole lot because I'm just gonna sit here and it's just gonna cool back down.
Although Krustalev now did a couple of wheelies to get tires well, at least the rear tire. D'Amelio has a bad start.
Benjamin Reinhardt jumps to the front and is away pretty well. Ryabtsev almost kind of got forced off track a little bit by Luca D'Amelio. Oh, yellow is out. Big, oh yeah, a bunch of offs here. Oh yeah.
A lot of cars.
Big crash. Zenkov is upside down, flipping over. Man, he's had a rough time of it this past several races. But yeah, Zenkov is out. Thiago Montero also out as part of that. There were a lot of Origin Racing cars caught up in that crash. Another crash here after turn 3. Big hits. Dobriakov is off and I think has lost a wheel with a big spin. Andrei Fedin is also out. Arco, or I guess he's rolling again, but Arco Hollistel is off and not moving.
Yikes.
Not moving at all. He has he's lost the wheel, Arco Hollistel. So two big crashes here with multiple casualties. I think Filippo Caneo and Eugene Fyodorov were all in that as well. But yeah, big incident here in lap 1.
We've already lost the 3 drivers. Amongst them, Thiago Monteiro.
Yes, yeah, that's a big hit, wow, a lot of action there at the front. Everyone going around the start of lap 2 a bit more gingerly, same as it was the last time around. But we're seeing several drivers come into turn 2 and 3 wide. Pablo Lopez Garcia takes a little more apex than he should have, goes through the inside grass, I think kind of as an escape, and lots of drama here in this race.
Strange, they should have learned on the 20-minute race how to take it easy. They have 40 minutes. So.
Yeah.
Overconfidence?
Maybe overconfidence, but also your starting position at the beginning of a race, rubber bands, and so I think there's a lot of drivers who are just really anxious to get ahead at the start. We'll call it that.
Understandable, but
as we see.
Also, DNFs, Dobriakov is in pits. Chelomanov is in pits. Santos is in pits.
Yeah, these are expected after the incident. We saw 3 drivers immediately DNF. We've now seen Poznikov DNF after the fact, and then 3 drivers in the pits is honestly a little bit low for my estimation. So I think there's some drivers who probably got hit and they're like, it's the start. I'm not coming in this early. I'm going to try to nurse it to maybe an earlier pit stop than usual. We might see some drivers involved in that incident. Just shift their pit strategy a tad and try to nurse it home on the damage they did get.
Meanwhile, we're looking at Luca D'Amelio being contested by Ryadsev for third position.
Emilio really sliding it through that last corner and then getting into the grass a little bit. Man, it's a it's a dramatic race watching Luca D'Amelio. Using all the space, going over both sausage curbs. Luca D'Amelio knows how to run that thing on the ragged edge, and it's working for him because he's alongside Krustalev, and it looks like he's
on the outside, right?
That can depend. You know, the effectiveness there can depend. But Ryabtsev actually gets the upper hand on Luca D'Amelio, who kind of cooked it through there. And so now he's with his Alpha Racing Team teammate, Krustalev, and he gets the pass on his teammate Krustalev.
I suppose that was a very friendly.
It was. there was no competition for it, at least not much, and both of them know that Luca D'Amelio, who is looking to capitalize on a mistake from Krustalev. He's the real target. It's actually looking like Ryabtsev's starting to run away from it while Krustalev kind of plays the block. It looks like. Of course, Krustalev can hold that position. He can block all he likes, and we can watch the gap from Krustalev to Ryabtsev grow while he holds him off. So. Maybe some team orders going on there, but that's how a team can win it, is by playing to your strengths.
And one has to play the doorstep.
But of course, a lot can change in a short amount of time. And
There's now very near, but a good exit.
Rozek, I was saying before the race he was a driver to watch. As these guys are alongside each other, battling it out, Rozek has only gotten nearer. Man, look at D'Amelio really sliding it out there. I don't think that's going to help him. But yeah, Krustalev maintains the advantage on D'Amelio. But D'Amelio, especially in corner entrance, is gaining on Krustalev. But then Krustalev gets a better corner exit. That's what we were talking about earlier on in the broadcast, where your corner entry is good, but if you're only fast in corner entry, then you're not fast in corner exit. And on this track, and a lot of tracks to be honest with you, corner exit is going to be a lot more important for your overall lap time. Man, look at Emilio really sliding it around the the exits on this as we're talking about. But oh, that the stewards are going to look at that track limits. Of course, you get a few warnings for that. I haven't seen him cut the track limits that egregiously all that often. So you do get some warnings, but if he keeps that up over the course of the next 32 minutes, 35 seconds, then there might be a problem. Yellow in Sector 2, trying to find out what that is. It was a short one, whatever it was. And it looks like we're good again.
Let's look a little bit lower. We have Parinopoulos and Sulik for 11th. Vesely and Zuralev for 15th. And that's about all the battles that we have. We go back to Krustalev and Roshek. That's an interesting combination. We have D'Amelio, Roshek, and Sander van Leuven in places 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, that's a special combo there. You can really see as those drivers are coming off in that last corner of the lap. lot of drivers get really squirrely there. It's a fast way to run it, but I wonder, this one being a race twice as long as the previous one, are they going to start to wear out their tires with that one? Are we going to see a bit of a difference? We got some drivers alongside. Krustalev and Emilio, and it's gonna be Krustalev, but only for the moment, as D'Amelio has a little bit of overspeed, and they are now exactly side by side, coming up to this braking zone. Who's braver? Krustalev locking the fronts, really defensive, and goes for the block, forces Luca D'Amelio off into the grass just a tiny bit. I don't think he was fully in the grass. Oh, a bit of a touch there from D'Amelio and Krustalev. I didn't see it on my screen, but I'm trusting netcode was probably at issue there. Krustalev now really going for a block. Luca D'Amelio not taking the bluff. That was a hard hit from Luca D'Amelio. It was definitely a heat of passion kind of hit, but I'm gonna say it. I think he took him out. That's oh boy. Rubbing is racing, but whenever you keep on rubbing, man, he went for the block, but D'Amelio had the opportunity to brake after he touched him. Still had the opportunity to brake in a way that he wasn't, and then just drove through him. And so yeah, that was, I mean, it was a bit of a dirty move going into it, but I think D'Amelio took it and took whatever would have been the problem of the initial dirty move and just turned it into an absolute takeout. Yes. Yeah. Matthew Maple now is catching up on Van Leuven. Matthew Maple, not a driver that we talked about a whole lot in the previous race or the previous weekend, but he's made his way all the way up to 6th place and is going up against one of the big dogs, Sander Van Leuven, for top 5.
And meanwhile, Rorschach, all the argy-bargy and keeping it clean, is on 3rd. For sure, as you were saying at the beginning of the race, Rorschach is one to look out for. But let's go to the nearest battle that we can find. Seraphim against Suvic for 10th. Outside of this corner is not a good place. While these two are battling, Paparinopoulos gets near enough of the conversation.
Yes, so this conversation between Suvic and Seraphim is now 3's a crowd with Paparinopoulos. And Seraphim, I think, is kind of holding up Suvic a little bit. Suvic's trying to find a way around, but Seraphim is doing a good job of making the back end of his BMW as wide as possible. And so yeah, Suvic briefly looking to the inside, thinks better of it. But I think Seraphim is taking the corners better, honestly, especially looking at that last one. Suvic's kind of, a little too far to the inside on corner entry to be able to get the overspeed. I think he's a quicker driver overall because, despite his mistakes, he's still, I think applying throttle better than Seraphim, out of the corners, but I think Seraphim has enough chops to keep both Suvic and Paparinopoulos. Of note, they're both teammates. They're both from Arian Sim Racing Team.
exerting much pressure on Suvic. Shudolev has DNF. A lot of DNFs here in the second race. You can see on that corner. Suvic
What are you
almost
seeing?
lost control. Khrushchev goes into pits. Suppose that is his pit stop to change time.
Yes. You know, we predicted some earlier pit stops, but really the only person that has come in ever since the first few has been Khrushchev just now. So now there was an incident a moment ago. Maxim Zhuravlev has retired.
And it seems Suvic left Paparinopoulos in front. At least there was not much battling. We have Tim Houck against Stavros Savikas.
This is your battle for 7th place.
That last one, very difficult to get right.
It's the thing that you don't think about is that it's pretty sharply downhill. Oh, a bit of a touch there. Those two drivers. Sarkas gets into the back of Tim Houck in the braking zone. And Stepan Vesely into pits as well. A lot of drivers into pits.
Houck and
Paparinopoulos.
yeah.
Yeah, Paparinopoulos got sent. Yeah, so that'll be one that the stewards will be looking at. That's for sure.
I was looking at the pit situation and did not see what happened there exactly. Hi, Tiago. Pity that you had to DNF, mate. Looking forward to seeing you battling.
Stepan Vesely has DNF'd after coming into the pits.
Oh. Maybe the sim told him, yeah, you got 20 minutes of repairs, and he said, you know what, no way.
That's possible. Tim Houck comes into pits. Andre Fedin is also in pit. A lot of drivers making their scheduled stops here as we are in the middle of the race.
And
about the midway point.
Paparinopoulos taking Seraphim's place or not. Nope, he didn't. He could not make it stick. Man, a lot of DNFs. Paparinopoulos still trying to get Seraphim's position. On the side of the race we have the 413th Houck, Sholomonov, Suvic and Caneo. But let's not forget that an unclean situation. Some of these drivers have gone into pits, some have not, and therefore the positions are not completely clean. I would love to show you who has gone into pits and who has not through R-Factor 2, but R-Factor 2 is quite special in these things.
Well, I have two bits of good news. I suppose subjectively one is good, and objectively I'll call the other good. So, subjectively, if you're a Krustelev fan, he has just set the fastest lap of the race, so that's good news for the Krustelev fans. And the other good news is that the sun is out.
Comes the sun, and we're demonetized.
Do 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 do. Benjamin Reinhardt, your leader through the 20 minutes. Roman Ryabtsev, second place, comes into pit right about now. Alpha Racing Team.
Stanelio.
True.
And we have 8 DNFs today. Yikes. And Van Looy. Serafim and Paparinopoulos are still at it, as you can see. Serafim locks the tires. Paparinopoulos tries to get the best of him, but he can't because his car got a little. He goes on the inside. Exchange some paint. But Paparinopoulos is able to take the position. And behind we have Shelomanov, Sarikas, Suvik, Van Leuven, Canino.
If the last few corners were any indication, Paparinopoulos is going to start to run away from Mario Serafim, who Mario Serafim tried to pull into the pits just a moment ago, and then realized he was going way too fast through the corner, and then thought better of it. So he was like, oh, if I actually yank myself into the pits, I'm gonna spin out and crash into the pit wall. So I got to see him think through that in real time. That was very interesting. Matthew Maple comes out of the pits in 8th place.
We keep with this small train here.
Shalomanov looking like he's about to get past Stavros Sarkias, going off into the grass, trying to do a Dale Earnhardt pass in the grass sort of situation. And looks like Sarkias gets it. He gets around Shalomanov in turn 3. Shalomanov, though, has the overspeed and looked like he was almost able to get alongside him. Oh, Filippo Caneo spun it, and he saved it though. He got back going again, but that's going to send him back further than he wants to be, and he's kind of out of this little train that's been drafting on each other here past a little while. Ryabtsev sets the new fastest lap, currently sitting in 3rd place while we're in the pit stop shuffle.
With new tires as well.
Yes, Mario Serafim, speaking of pit stop shuffle, comes in, currently sitting in 7th place.
I think Suvik had a moment there.
I think you're right.
Oh, and he got a penalty.
That's going to be speeding in the pit lane.
Yep.
These do have pit speed limiters, but you got to remember to hit them.
And to hit them at the bottom.
Yes.
And to not
The
let go
DNF count
of them.
has... Yeah, the DNF count has increased. Euros Kastelik and Reda Uhilal join the others in the garage. They have now retired from the race.
Lots of DNFs in this setup. I suppose also because of those two enormous incidents on the first lap.
Oh, Paparanopoulos hits Luca D'Amelio as he goes by. He was, I think, trying to come in off of the rumble strips, and D'Amelio wasn't letting him in, but didn't have to. Yeah, so they took. Mario Seraphim back in the pits. I think he was already in the pits. So
yeah, but didn't he he got the penalty?
That wasn't Seraphim. That was
Really?
I think that was another S name, wasn't it? It might have been, but that doesn't change the fact that Mario Seraphim did come in and did get new tires this time around. It wasn't just a drive-through or even a stop and go, because his car was lifted up on jacks and he's coming out with fresh tires. So.
So now that we have a much more clean grid, we have Reinhard, Ryabtsev, D'Amelio, Roshak, and Paparinopoulos in first, fifth. And we go to Haug, Van Leuven, Cholomanov, and Caneo for 10th. Man, what has happened to Van Leuven? Seraphim DNFs.
Yes, he does. Perhaps it did the penalty not clear, and then that wasn't good enough. That's my guess, because if I think in retrospect it might have been him that got the penalty. So you're probably right on that. And he did go in and get tires and stuff, so he would have come out and it's like, oh nope, you got to come back into the pits, and he's like, oh screw this. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Benjamin Reinhardt has been running away with this race, 5.4 seconds to second place. And that it's not spelled the way it should be. Optimal Esports. The Optimal Esports AMG Mercedes, because you have to be difficult about it and throw that extra I in there, is currently leading the race. Benjamin Reinhardt at the helm. And Luca D'Amelio and Roman Ryabtsev are having a battle for second place. Ryabtsev, I think, just took it from D'Amelio. Well, I was fighting a totally different battle. But Patrick Rosak in fourth place. He hasn't spent a whole lot of time up at the front. Rosak has, but he has shown repeatedly that he's got promise, and so I think
is fronting.
Fourth is pretty high up in a field of 20 active drivers out on track right now. Absolutely, but Rosak, he was charging for the lead, and so your last best experience becomes your next expectation, and so I'm sure he's been not terribly happy that he's been down in sixth and fifth and fourth. I think he's going to be happy when he's on the podium.
On the other hand, he's avoided Paparinopoulos in pits. That's right. On the other hand, he's avoided the sausage. So.
This time around, yes, he's learned his lesson.
Exactly.
Gone vegetarian. Paparnopoulos coming out right behind a trio of let's see, Sander van Leuven, Suvik, and Sarakas. And so their three-way fight all of a sudden becomes a four-way fight, as Paparnopoulos is going to want to, with the last 11 minutes of this race, get up and back into the running. Patrick Rozak. Yes, with fresher tires too. Yeah. Patrick Rozak is ever closer to Luca D'Amelio, who is, speaking of tires, really sliding it around there still. It seems to be working for him, but, you know, tire wear is definitely a thing you got to look out for, especially now that the sun is out. It's going to start heating up the track. And so we're going to see knock-on effects of that. Roman Ryabtsev, still second place. Just barely sees Benjamin Reinhardt as he comes into the braking zone. He sees Reinhardt leaving the corner. And so that 5-second gap is going to be not insurmountable, but really difficult to overcome if Ryabtsev wants the win. Luca D'Amelio is ever closer to Ryabtsev. I keep saying that because he gets closer and then falls back a little bit, and then gets ever closer and then falls back a little bit. But it's been a little bit more consistent. Luca D'Amelio is 0.4 seconds away from Ryabtsev. That is fighting distance, and a lot can happen. And if you're me, I'd rather be chasing than being chased.
Chasing, and Leuven taking 7th position from Sarikas.
And Paparnopoulos as well gets around Sarakas. So Sarakas has lost 2 positions in just a couple of corners, and Timon Suvik is also knocking on Sarakas's door. So Sarakas has really got to pick up the pace here, or he's going to be back 3 positions in 1 lap.
We go back to D'Amelio and Roche.
Yeah, this is the battle for third. Roman Ryabtsev is in second, but has a little bit more of a gap between them. I was talking about that gap. Luca D'Amelio and Ryabtsev kind of rubber banding as we've been going on in this race. You can really see it as D'Amelio is maybe Rozak is going to take advantage of that mistake from D'Amelio. We have a yellow in this sector, but only briefly. I think that was Paparnopoulos, Sarakas, and Van Leuven all battling it out. There's a big fight going on over here. Let's take a look at that. I think it's a bit more interesting. Van Leuven and Paparnopoulos have touched going into the braking zone, and Paparnopoulos trying not to slide into Van Leuven as Van Leuven tries to make his way around on the outside. And in this part of the track, the outside turns into the inside, and Paparnopoulos gets the inside line on both on both of those corners. Van Leuven here is, I think, losing a little bit of steam now that Paparnopoulos has gone ahead, but again, that's just out of that corner. These guys are putting on an absolute masterclass in some good, respectable driving. Man, you look at, I'm looking at Suvik's POV here, and you just see this line of cars in front of him. And Tim Houck, 1.5 seconds away from this really, really close battle of cars here. But if we see some contact and some crashes here in the next 7 minutes between these guys driving, it is Tim Houck who is first in line to benefit there in that Rook Racing BWW car. And he's got his own problems though, because Filippo Caneo is challenging Tim Houck for 11th place here. So he's also being chased. a lot of action here on the track as promised.
There we go.
Good track for
Caneo
passing.
takes the place.
Yes, he does, from Tim Houck. And it looks like Tim Houck's going to... he's not actually going to try something. I was thinking that he was going to go and try to be real late on the brakes there, but no, Tim Houck gets really, really squirrely as he hits the curbs on the outside of that corner and loses a lot of time to Kaneo. So there's now a little over a second of gap between those two drivers, and now it is Kaneo who is going to try to catch up to these powerful four drivers in front of him. 5 minutes, 55 seconds left to go. Leuven and Paparanopoulos, that flame has not gone cold at all, as these guys have remained within a half of a second of each other for the past little while.
And we have yet another DNF, Korekov.
The first one since Mario Seraphim. A little bit of relative calm here, he says, quote, which I think is probably going to change here as we enter the last 5 minutes of this race. And
that's just no, it's R factor being
oh yeah. Sometimes if you run a little closer to the pit entry, then it will count you as going into pits. It will eventually realize that, oh, he did not go into pits, but it will show us pit in big and blue for them. It's like, no, not yet. Not today. Look at Emilio getting closer to Ryabtsev, the challenge for second, and Patrick Rozak furthest behind he's been in a while to D'Amelio. I would attribute that more to D'Amelio finding some pace, more so than Patrick Rozak getting a lot slower, just looking at the lap times here.
We have to squeeze our eyes because there's Emilio against Ryabtsev, but also Paparinopoulos and Van Leuven, and we have to be looking at both at the same time to see which one is getting hot.
Yes, look at us multitasking with no multicam. Van Leuven and Paparinopoulos are putting on a nicer looking show, I think, but Emilio and Ryabtsev are more consequential here, which with it being the battle for second place. Patrick Rozak has been in fourth place for a while now. He's been stuck behind the D'Amelio Ryabtsev crew and has been just outside the podium for this race.
On the other hand, better to be fourth than having to DNF because of I think he's taking it easy after that issue on the front.
Well, speaking of catching the sausage, Tim Houck got shafted, and he's down into 14th now. I think it was his own unforced error on the corner exit of the final corner. But now Filippo Caneo has caught up to Suvic. So he joins the group of Caneo, Suvic, and Sarakas has actually gone a little bit ahead. Not a whole lot. Van Leuven, though. Van Leuven has really made some waves because he is 2.9 seconds ahead of Sarakas. So he's starting to fight a whole new battle with Paparinopoulos, who did make his way around that crew. Remember, Paparinopoulos came out of his pit stop and ended up in 10th behind Suvic, Van Leuven, Sarakas, and he has made his way up the order into 7th place. And then Matthew Maple has been running a very respectable 6th place. and Krustalev in a kind of lonely 5th. He's not got a driver within 8 seconds of him. Coming around here, last minute of racing, it will be this lap and probably just this lap. I think
exactly.
this is probably the final lap here as Benjamin Reinhardt starts to catch up to some lap down traffic. The car ahead of him is Nick Stepanenko. We're seeing some battling going on here. Or at least, no, we're seeing some passing of lap down cars is what we're seeing.
Yeah.
But we are seeing a little bit of battling. D'Amelio, Ryabtsev, that's lap down. I think Stepanenko has gone off there. None of your leaders, but it does make Luca D'Amelio and Ryabtsev a lot closer together. And now we've got a fight here in the last lap of the race. Ryabtsev slides it, D'Amelio slides it even more. These guys are Tokyo drifting it around that one. Ryabtsev darting in and out, trying to block Luca D'Amelio. This is it. This will be the checkered flag. Benjamin Reinhardt, your leader by a solid 3 seconds now. Did get reeled in a little bit as they went through lap down traffic from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, but still maintains a comfortable lead. Coming around the final corner, Luca D'Amelio, big slide. Whoa, big slide. And with that, Ryabtsev's going to comfortably take second place. Congratulations to Benjamin Reinhardt on getting first. Luca D'Amelio takes third. Patrick Rozak, consistent driving, brings home 4th place. Yaroslav Krustalev will bring home 5th. That rounds out your top 5 of race 2. That was an action-packed one.
Yeah, although not as action-packed as the first one. But I think.
Oh, I don't know. We had 10 DNFs in this race.
Yeah, but that's less action than crashing, and the crashing brought DNFs, and therefore there was less action. So I'm trying to get our interview partners.
Well, Benjamin Reinhardt put on a really good showing there of what happens whenever you're just clean, consistent, and in front. And we are going to hopefully get him in with us momentarily to talk a little bit about his race on the stream. And Ryabtsev, who finished in 2nd place, was a much harder fought 2nd place, I think.
And we have Benjamin Reinhardt, who I hope. Yeah. Hi, Benjamin.
Hello.
Welcome to the
So-
broadcast.
Congratulations on winning the race. Was it as easy as it looked like?
Oh man, it wasn't easy at all. I mean, had a great start. I hope you've seen that. That was my biggest luck in the race because I could build a gap in behind me, but Roman and Luca and even Patrick were catching up to me all the time. I think my tire wear was a bit worse than theirs, and 10 minutes in the stint, I couldn't do anything but lose time. But fortunately, I didn't caught up.
So, how much fun is it to drive this mod? Because it looks like tons of fun.
It is fun. It really matches my driving style. It's a little bit oversteery, and in this track you could attack curbs. I have fun with it.
Right, it seems that we cannot get Rorschach into the interview booth. At least I'm not seeing him anywhere. So, in any case, congratulations, Benjamin. Hope
Thank
to
you.
see you at the front in the next race, which is going to be next week, 2100, as today in Moscow. Nick. Hi, Nick. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
So I was saying bye bye, but is there something you would like to tell the people on the stream?
Yeah, we'll share some some updates from my point. I wasn't supposed to race today, but I was emergency replacement for another team. But what can I say? The track is good. The flow is really good. The setup was really great. Thanks to Henki and Steneker once again. And big step forward. Unfortunately for our guys, there was no luck, and the Yaroslav stuck in the second race and finished again P11. Not that much points, but yeah, the cool race, really tough one. I don't know if Benjamin, what does Benjamin think about this track, but it was kind of challenging to overtake on this track, and just to follow other car was already a little bit complicated because of the dirty air, so you had less opportunities, and of course because this track is pretty much short, only 9 turns, there was not that much opportunities to overtake, like according in my feelings as well, at least. So big congrats to Benjamin. I think he won the last race, right? The second race.
Yes.
Yeah, big congrats to Benjamin and for everyone who finished the race. So see you in a week
in Moscow. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium. Bye.
Bye.